This morning, a quiet atmosphere settled over the royal palace, not because of a formal ceremony, but out of fear. According to a leaked confidential source, MI6 has quietly launched a preliminary investigation into what is being described behind closed doors as a serious breach in the royal family's internal communication system. And the name at the center of this investigation is Meghan Markle. At first, this sounded absurd even to those involved, but the rumors didn't stop. In fact, they only grew stronger. By midday, two investigative journalists specializing in intelligence confirmed a detail that completely changed the situation. Do you think this is just a rumor, or is there something truly being hidden behind the royal gates? Leave a comment with 1 if you're ready to join us in uncovering the full truth behind this shocking case. Don't forget to share your thoughts. We read every comment. Hit like if you find this video thought-provoking. And subscribe now so you won't miss the latest hot updates from behind the royal scenes and ongoing secret investigations. Today's story isn't just drama, it could be the start of a serious crisis. Call logs allegedly linked to Meghan's overseas team have triggered red alerts on UK government servers. These calls were far from ordinary. They were not part of any official royal communications. Worse, they may have been used to track the real-time locations of senior royal staff. A royal aide who wished to remain anonymous said, "We never suspected that Meghan's old communication system was still active, certainly not in this way. We were told all devices had been deactivated after the couple left the royal family. Clearly something was overlooked." The security nightmare began with an email, a forwarded internal email flagged by GCHQ's cybersecurity unit. The email contained a digital footprint linked to a secure contact in Montecito, where Meghan resides, with a timestamp matching key royal movement events in the UK. As analysts traced that footprint, they uncovered something even worse. A secondary phone network was linked to a device that had never been registered in the UK since before the Platinum Jubilee. And that's when MI6 stepped in. A former intelligence analyst tweeted on July 8th. "If even 10% of what I'm hearing is true, this is the biggest royal protocol breach in 50 years. They don't call in MI6 just over rumors." Meanwhile, inside Kensington Palace, the atmosphere was described as a cold panic. Kate, who had planned a low-key visit to a children's charity, abruptly canceled without explanation. William, who had recently remained silent amid the Meghan-related uproar, was reported to have been notified at 7 a.m. and immediately left a private event. A royal affairs journalist commented, "This is no longer just a royal feud. This seems to be an intelligence matter. If true, this is no longer a story about media betrayal, it's a national security issue." Meanwhile, Meghan's side has yet to make any official statements. Sources close to the Archewell organization have gone completely silent. No emails, no schedule updates, only a cryptic remark from a staff member when asked if Meghan was aware of the investigation. "She always knew this day might come." Narrator's message: every deleted tweet, false statement, and PR cover-up takes hours to investigate. If you want to help the channel keep exposing what others try to hide, hit the join button and become a member. As news of the investigation spread throughout Whitehall, a big question arose. How could Meghan, who is no longer a member of the royal family and no longer has access to the UK's classified information, still have digital access to the royal family's secure internal movements? The short answer: she shouldn't have. But insider sources now believe there was a digital blind spot during the Sussexes' exit from the royal family, a silent oversight that allowed some seemingly harmless communication channels to remain partially active. Worse still, some of those lines may have been deliberately rerouted. A former IT engineer who worked for the royal family revealed. At the time, we were focused only on controlling communications and didn't pay much attention to cybersecurity. No one thought she would exploit technical loopholes. Now it seems someone close to Meghan knew exactly where to breach. The crux of the matter lies in the call log's detailed call data that allegedly show access activity between a contact in Montecito and devices in the UK assigned to royal staff. These were no accidental or misdialed calls. According to a leaked report from MI6, these records show a pattern of deliberate communication that took place just before two top-secret events, a closed-door meeting to prepare for Kate Middleton's speech at the United Nations, and the private travel schedule of Prince George's security team. The calls were made during breaks routed through an encrypted proxy and nearly perfectly aligned with the timing of updates to the royal family's security protocols. A Twitter user at the account You Can Tell Watch wrote on July 9th. The same week Meghan's name appeared in congressional emails, her digital footprint coincides with the royal family's travel map. Well, that's a coincidence. This tweet sparked a firestorm on royal Twitter. And suddenly the question was no longer whether Meghan had made those calls herself from California, but who had done it for her. A name that keeps coming up: Jeanette Bryson, Archewell's former communications manager, who quietly stepped down last year. According to internal whistleblowers, she was one of 3 people who had access to Meghan's old encrypted address book, which was created when Meghan was still a working royal. Now Bryson is under scrutiny by cybersecurity investigators. Meghan also canceled her attendance at a charity event in Beverly Hills this week, citing a schedule conflict. But the timing of the cancellation was too coincidental, as on the same day, William met with MI6 advisors at a secret location, and according to media descriptions, the meeting left him confused, almost panicked. A journalist commented bluntly, "If William looked confused, it's because he was facing a threat not only to the crown, but to the actual safety of his family." At Kensington Palace, the level of tension was compared to the period following the controversial interview with Oprah, but this time it wasn't about reputation but about real risk. Part of the material is said to focus on indirect access via proxies. In simpler terms, this means Meghan's team may have used apps' virtual phone numbers, burner numbers, or even messaging platforms linked to third parties who had worked within or near the palace grounds. These are not anonymous hackers, but individuals with a history security clearance and a clear purpose. Someone inside the palace whispered, "This is not an outside intrusion. It's like an echo from within, a ghost in the system, and this ghost may have done more than just spy." Now there are rumors of a specific case, a seemingly harmless change in Princess Charlotte's pickup route earlier this spring. At the time, the change was seen as a basic security measure. However, new digital forensic analyses reveal that a text message was sent just hours before the change occurred from a device linked to Meghan's inner circle. The message contained no clear content, only a vague statement. "You should be very careful today. There's a feeling that something is off." The message was sent to a phone number previously registered to a royal assistant. The assistant no longer worked at the palace, but the connection was sufficient to raise an alarm. A Twitter user wrote on July 10th at the Crown Whispers account, "This is no longer just a conflict. If it's true that Meghan's team really influenced security changes from thousands of miles away, that's a national threat. Even journalists who once defended Meghan's independence are beginning to rethink the issue. On a recent broadcast, Sky News analyst Lorraine Castle acknowledged the line between keeping informed and overstepping is very thin. If Meghan has crossed that line, this is no longer royal drama, it's a legal issue. And the legal consequences may already be rolling. According to reports, MI6 has been working with the UK Home Office. Their joint cybercrime unit is quietly investigating whether any digital touchpoints used by Meghan's team violate the Official Secrets Act, a law typically applied to acts of espionage, sabotage, or aiding foreign powers. If the answer is yes, the matter will not remain hidden behind palace walls forever. By midweek, the phrase breach of royal security had climbed to the top 5 trends on British media. But what no one expected was who would enter the next discussion. Simon Halbridge, the former deputy director of MI6, who had retired long ago and was known for being reserved, unexpectedly appeared on a late-night BBC roundtable program. His voice was calm, but his words left every newsroom in London stunned. I don't usually speak out, but when national institutions are harmed, whether intentionally or not, there is no such thing as old intelligence. If there is credible evidence that someone has attempted to monitor or manipulate royal security operations from afar, that is an act of hostility. And he added, even if that person had once been married to a prince. The broadcast clip quickly spread online overnight. Meanwhile, in Parliament, whispers of an official investigation were growing. A leaked memo from the Defense Committee suggested an emergency closed-door session. The document's title, Request to Review Meghan Markle's Call Logs for MI6 Report. Downing Street has yet to make an official statement, at least not yet. However, reporters have obtained a series of internal emails discussing whether to inform Prince Harry about the escalating investigation. Clearly, he has not been informed. Then came the most serious turning point. One of the blocked call logs, believed to be linked to the device of Meghan's former communications strategist, contained 3 very specific search terms: the Queen's Speech, Secure Broadcast Protocol, United Nations Security Escort, Route Private Mobile Phone Location, Catherine Windsor. The final keyword triggered an immediate investigation. A Twitter user commented on July 11th, "You're watching. Hold on if Meghan's team is searching for Kate's private location at a UN event, that's not just obsession. That's full-blown surveillance." The palace, known for its steadfastness in scandals, is said to have lost control of the story behind the scenes. A source close to Prince William revealed to The Times that he is not only disappointed, but also furious. This is no longer about media games or public sympathy. This is about his wife and children, and the truth is that despite everything that's happened, Meghan seems to be still watching them. And so, public opinion begins to shift. The issue is no longer whether Meghan was right or wrong in her previous grievances, but her current behavior and potential criminal activity. Tabloids ran headlines like "The Duchess Knows Too Much," "Meghan's Digital Footprint Causes Panic in Palace Corridors," and "Royal Rebellion Campaign." In the shadows of Whitehall, an anonymous official made a chilling statement to The Guardian. If what MI6 is compiling holds up through verification, there will be serious consequences. Titles don't protect you from espionage laws. By Thursday morning, journalists outside MI6 headquarters were no longer asking whether Meghan's team had accessed classified information. Instead, they asked, How far has this gone? A new batch of leaked information continued to arrive in journalists' inboxes this time, including screenshots of MI6's internal summaries. A document marked Class 2. Read limited eyes, only a Level 2. Classified document accessible only to authorized personnel described a marked call between a phone number registered in California and an international consulting firm specializing in privacy security. The call's subject line read, "End-to-end eraser package quote for 3-month data batch." The call took place just 2 days after Meghan returned from a private event in Geneva, where Kate Middleton also attended a global mental health conference. A former intelligence officer tweeted on July 12th, following the intel trail in the UK. This is exactly how cover-up campaigns begin. First you scan, then you panic, then you try to erase the evidence. But the more you erase, the louder the alarm. This is exactly how cover-up campaigns begin. First, you scan, then you panic, then you try to wipe the traces clean, but the more you try to erase, the louder the alarm sounds. Meanwhile, pressure on Parliament to intervene officially is growing. An insider at the Home Office confirmed that the Foreign Affairs Committee has drafted a confidential file titled "Violation of the Duchess's Protocol and its Legal Implications." What's more alarming is the secret visit of an MI6 legal representative to Windsor Castle. Speculation is running wild. Is King Charles being kept informed? Is Prince William demanding enhanced security? Or worse, is MI6 preparing to interrogate Prince Harry directly? Another leak refers to a clause for non-citizens related to how MI6 handles foreign nationals and security breaches. Meghan, technically still a U.S. citizen, could fall under a different legal jurisdiction if wrongdoing is proven. And in a shocking moment on social media, a palace-linked staffer broke their silence with a direct message DM shared by an internal royal account at Royal Round UK. We were told never to leave laptops unattended since 2020. Not because we feared journalists, but because she would still ask questions. Specific questions. Security wanted to mark her devices before she left. What shocked the public wasn't just the allegations, but the familiarity of the staff members. It seems everyone knew something was off years ago. If you think today's story is the ultimate royal drama, leave a comment number 2 below. If you think this is more than just a media feud and could be something more serious, leave a comment number 5. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Every comment you leave is a piece of the bigger picture. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to help unravel the next chapters of this ongoing story. Then an internal audio recording was leaked. An MI6 training tape was revealed to the press. In it, a voice says, "If someone who once had access to the royal schedule continues to show interest in those activities after leaving royal duty, it must be assumed that their intentions are hostile or criminal." People began to connect the dots. Meghan didn't just leave the royal family, she might still be monitoring them. And if that's the case, what's the reason? By midday Friday, the hashtag #OhMeghanSpygate had surpassed 1 million mentions. But the story was no longer just about encrypted calls or suspicious data deletions. It shifted to questions about motive. What is Meghan trying to find out, and what does she plan to do with that information? A former close assistant to Prince William spoke out during a closed-door press conference. The voice was anonymous and the identity undisclosed, but they revealed something chilling. The breach wasn't just about Kate's itinerary or speech, but about schedule coincidences. Meghan's team is trying to determine when key royal family members will be present in the same room at the same time. This discovery completely changes the landscape. Suddenly, MI6's investigation is no longer just about call logs. It's about security failures, deliberate surveillance, and possibly a coordinated PR campaign disguised as random coincidences. The UK Senate held a secret meeting on Friday evening requesting GCHQ and MI6 to conduct a security audit. The news was even more shocking when reports emerged that Meghan's phone had emitted a signal near an MI6 protected area in late June, a week before the incident was made public. Journalists from The Times suggested that a warrant to seize Meghan's digital records may have been executed. Meanwhile, social media was abuzz when the account History Keeps Receipts tweeted on July 14th, "Meghan may have left the royal family, but she never left the game." MI6 doesn't open files lightly. Something dark is going on here. On the same day, a British cybersecurity expert posted a series of tweets that went viral, explaining how someone could copy a royal employee's phone with just a login link provided they had previously had access to internal documents. The implication of the tweet series was that Meghan's time in the royal family may have provided her with enough information to create a backdoor in their digital system. Then the photos appeared. A whistleblower account posted 2 blurry photos showing a man believed to be associated with Meghan's tech team in the US, sitting in a private airport lounge in Zurich. On the table next to him was a stack of documents marked KM Schedule Backup. Within hours, the account was locked. The post disappeared, but the internet had already saved it. Millions of people took screenshots. And suddenly, one thing became clear. This was not a petty tabloid feud. This was a major intelligence scandal. By Saturday morning, Buckingham Palace's silence had become deafening. No statement, no denial, not even a vague PR gesture. But insiders whispered that the Queen's former private secretary had been recalled to work in an emergency, a special advisor, something that hadn't happened since the Sussexes left the royal family in 2020. The final attention-grabbing detail sources within MI6 are now linking the breach to a specific date, a speech. Kate was scheduled to speak at the United Nations in Geneva, a speech that, according to leaked drafts, would focus on highlighting the leadership role of women globally, but in a subtle way, unlike the publicity-driven campaigns. This connection is impossible to ignore. On July 15th, a widely shared tweet from the Monarch Files account sparked a social media storm, so Meghan tried to sabotage Kate's UN moment. Now we discover that Meghan's team accessed call logs just before the speech took place. What's going on? Theories are already swirling. Is Meghan trying to sabotage the timing of the speech, or worse, is she planning to steal key points from the speech, to leak them beforehand, aiming to outmaneuver Kate in capturing public opinion? However, things took a darker turn when a former palace aide who had been responsible for internal communication strategy secretly leaked a chilling memo. The memo is dated June 22nd, several weeks before any alleged misconduct, and it outlines a counterattack plan aimed at undermining the global reputation of an unnamed royal figure. The document uses phrases such as brand offsetting and preemptive exposure of hypocrisy. According to the whistleblower, the memo was discovered and flagged by the internal legal department but never acted upon until now. British lawmakers have begun calling for a comprehensive cybersecurity audit of all devices related to the royal family, not just currently, but dating back to 2019 and earlier. Why? Because encrypted logs show repeated communications from Meghan's team to former aides of Prince Andrew, a completely separate royal scandal, raising suspicions that Meghan may be gathering leverage from multiple sides. Meanwhile, a foreboding tweet from the asterisk account of a former palace staff member on July 15th sent shivers down many spines. The tweet read, "This has never been about reconciliation. It's about control. And some of us warned about this years ago. Now the public isn't just wondering what Meghan knows, but also what she plans to do next. The investigation has shifted from drama to a full-blown intelligence scandal. MI6 is no longer just reviewing call logs. They are also examining foreign-related correspondence linked to Meghan's former digital strategist, who briefly worked at the embassy in Washington before 2018. Though this connection hasn't been officially confirmed, the information is enough to make British intelligence wary of the risk of cross-border coordination. And in the blink of an eye, rumors of espionage began to creep into tabloid headlines. This is no longer just royal drama, but has become a matter of national security. On July 16th, a tweet from Insider Downing went viral on social media. We now have confirmation that at least 2 burner phones, disposable phones belonging to staff associated with the Sussexes, have been detected near royal security networks. This is an MI6 matter now. At the same time, a senior aide from Kensington Palace quietly provided information to a select group of off-the-record journalists. A notable statement quickly spread. This isn't an emotional reaction. This is a strategy. There's a line and she crossed it. At this point, even those who had previously supported Meghan began to backtrack. British journalist Fiona Ellsworth, who had previously defended Meghan against media intrusion, stunned viewers during a roundtable discussion on July 16th, when she said, "If this is proven to be true, I will have to admit I was wrong about her motives." Wanting to be heard is one thing, but infiltrating security infrastructure is an entirely different matter. Behind the scenes, the palace has established a legal firewall. All external communications, even routine PR updates, now must go through internal security reviews. And then the biggest twist struck. At 6:22 p.m. on July 16th, The Guardian quietly updated an article from 2020 in which a very alarming sentence was buried deep within the edits. A palace source now confirms that the leak of Kate's 2021 African Initiative Plan documents, previously considered a minor incident, may be reconsidered in light of recent security revelations. That leak was the reason for the months-long silence between the Wales and Sussex camps. If that incident also involved Meghan's inner circle, this is not just a single scandal. This would be a pattern of events, and Britain is very strict about such intrusions. By the morning of July 17th, public opinion had nearly erupted. People were no longer just speculating. They began demanding transparency and accountability. A tweet from retired military analyst Colonel Hawke caused a stir. If MI6 is investigating leaked call logs and palace security breaches, this is no longer a trivial matter. This is a national defense issue. Someone must be held accountable. Many former palace staff began sharing their stories with the media anonymously. A former logistics worker involved in the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations told Sky News, "At times, information leaked so quickly, it left us bewildered. Schedules, seating arrangements, charitable collaborations, all were either disclosed or blocked at the last minute. It no longer felt like a coincidence. This has only fueled growing suspicions that Meghan's team is not acting on impulse or reacting impulsively. They may have been calculating strategic and quietly establishing a presence in areas where they are not permitted. Even late-night talk show hosts, who were once very cautious when discussing royal matters, have begun to speak out. A widely circulated clip of British host Mark Redgrave has been played repeatedly in which he says, "Imagine moving to another country, rejecting the system, suing tabloids, then secretly hacking into the backstage system. Either you've left or you haven't." But then an unexpected moment emerged. A leaked voicemail recording, reportedly from a former senior assistant in Meghan's Arwell office, surfaced. The voice in the recording is unclear, but the content is clear. If we time it right, it won't look like interference, but like concerned citizens. But it will still get the message to the right inbox before Kate speaks. The voice does not mention the UN speech or the media leak, but the timing of the message coincides with the week before Kate's important 2024 speech on global health. The speech that was nearly derailed by a sudden media controversy over missing documents. At this point, even the most steadfast Sussex supporters began to fall silent. By the evening of July 17th, another tweet sent social media into a frenzy. This time from UK Intel watchdog, we officially confirmed the involvement of an internal cybersecurity task force. MI6 has authority, but when cybercriminals infiltrate the royal infrastructure, there's no room for compromise. A royal correspondent summed up the situation accurately. "We thought we were watching a long-running TV series. It turns out we're witnessing an intrusion." On July 18th, Westminster fell into a state of lockdown. Not the kind with barriers or sirens, but the kind where every corridor echoed with whispers and deleted emails. Senior lawmakers began holding closed-door meetings with security leaders. The House of Commons has not issued any statement, but the palace has made a rare and cold move. Kensington Palace issued a brief statement to several media outlets. Any violation of internal communication procedures affecting senior members of the royal family will be treated with the utmost seriousness. On the same morning, The Times published an investigative article provided by an anonymous intelligence source titled "Cyber Intrusion into the Royal Family: What Meghan's Group is Said to Have Accessed." The article made shocking allegations the family's internal schedule personnel transfer announcements, internal documents from Mimosum, and drafts of Kate's speeches. One of the allegations even claimed that an encrypted document detailing Princess Charlotte's school schedule had been accessed and copied, though not disseminated, but the fact that it was viewed was sufficient cause for concern. A tweet from royal commentator Diana Legacy bluntly stated, "When will we stop calling this drama and start calling it a breach?" The digital forensic investigation team traced the point of entry back to an advisor from the Arwell Foundation who had previously worked with a UK-based non-governmental organization. This advisor had remote access to multiple platforms, and while Meghan never logged in directly, her communications are believed to have triggered the incident. The MI6 investigation shifted focus not only to what was accessed, but also to who directed it and why. The most shocking moment came when an anonymous source in Parliament leaked a chilling statement. They didn't need to hack anything. They already had the passwords. By July 19th, global media outlets like Leant and Alizar began publishing in-depth analyses of the incident. CNN International aired the headline during primetime Mexit or espionage, "The phone hacking at the palace has shaken the royal family." Then, the final blow was delivered. During the BBC's evening commentary program, experts revealed that according to reliable sources, MI6 had handed over some crucial evidence to the FBI, citing concerns over cross-border online communications and potential violations of the State Secrets Act, a law typically applied in espionage or treason cases. At that moment, a new phrase began trending on social media: Royal Espionage Gate. And once again, the world no longer viewed Meghan as a duchess or a personal brand, but as a threat under surveillance and potentially under investigation. The silence from Meghan's team was almost absolute, but for the public, one thing had become clear. This was no longer just a personal dispute or conflict. This was a serious security breach. And the consequences of the incident were only beginning to unfold. What do you think about this story? Is this part of a larger conspiracy we haven't seen yet? Or is it just a simple power struggle? Leave your thoughts in the comments section and don't forget to hit like if you found this video helpful. If you want to stay updated on the latest news and in-depth analysis of this royal scandal, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications now. We will continue to monitor and bring you the latest information.